Millie, get it, got that makeup, poppin', girl you.
Probably for, I would say, 8 years. I started singing, in high school. I was always, the girl with my friends doing, little like freestyle things. It really started off actually as poetry. And from there, I started to just sort of transition into actually singing the things that I was writing. But I never actually thought that it was something that I would be able to pursue or make a career out of it, only because, I never saw anybody who kind of came from the world that I came from that was able to do it. So it just seemed like such a far-fetched idea. And, eventually I just took it, one step at a time, going into the studio. I really had no idea what I was doing in there the first time, but, you learn and you eventually pick up. And it's been 8 years now where I've been, trying to like actually professionally pursue this. So it's been exciting, a lot of ups and downs. And I feel like now more than ever, I know who I am as an artist. I really feel like I have an amazing team with me. I know exactly what it is that I want to say. I'm able to be in these studio sessions and contribute to ideas. It's just, it's like confidence. After a while, you just get better. And yeah, that's like the place that I'm at. Actually, a singer who was out, or, rapper singer. And then there were two other girls who were also pursuing music, and that was really it. So when I did come into it, doing it and taking it professionally, it was extremely scary because, of course, there was criticism. It is very taboo to be in to be choosing a career path like this. There were, backlash that I received, not just from online, but from certain family members as well. So you can only imagine you're not only dealing with the criticism from just other people, but also the very things that people are saying to you in your family, in your community, in your culture. So it was a lot of added pressure. But on the flip side, I had so many incredible girls who were sending me messages and saying things along the lines of, wow, you're really making it, possible for me to dream, to be able to do these things. And I'm not scared of it no more. I have a guide point, and I have somebody that I can even show my parents and say, hey, look, look at what she's doing and look how she's doing it. And it's been amazing because over the years, a lot of, young, and it's not even, it's, Somali girls, Pakistani girls, even Saudi Arabian girls have messaged me, and it's such an honor to be in this position because I've actually kind of helped guide them and, give them little steps on what to do. And I literally have like a notebook almost of what I just send to all of them and be like, this is what you should do, and this is the steps that you should take if it works for you. And it's been amazing because a lot of them I've seen release music, and some of them are on their second project, and it's been amazing. So yes, the criticism is hard, but when you have that, nothing else matters, right? All of that just, the last project that I had in the last music that I did, the space that I was in, it was a very sort of like sad, insecure, trying to figure out my voice and find my footing really with the way that I wanted to express myself. And I was still trying to get comfortable with parts of myself as well. It kind of ties into what I was saying before, which is when I did start doing music, I felt like I had this pressure to only talk about certain topics. And it was about, sort of like conscious music, which I absolutely love doing, and it is a part of who I am. But I felt like I boxed myself into that. I felt like that's the only music that I was doing. And with the last project, I was slowly coming out of that and really getting to a place where I was like, you know what, I'm doing a disservice to myself. I've been in love. I've had my heart broken. I've, had insecurities, and there's been intimate things that I've experienced that I'm not talking about in my music out of fear of, the backlash I'm going to receive. So I just remember feeling like I don't care anymore. You know, I'm not gonna hold myself back and not be fully present in my music. And with Honey, I remember just being in the studio that day, and I was feeling extremely, you know, confident, almost cocky, sexy, you know, empowered. And I was like, I want to, you know, create and write from that place of being enough and having it, and, you know, it just being a boss. You know, I hear it, you hear it in like rap music where men are able to be bravado and, you know, do all these cocky things. I was just like, that's the place that I'm at right now. And I just really wanted to make it playful. So that's really what it is. You know, I got that honey, I got that magic. It could be black girl magic. It's just like that, you know, je ne sais quoi. It's that sauce that you have, that we all have, that we all possess. And, you know, just off the top of my head, the first Kalani, I think she just like, that just came to me right away because I'm obsessed with her music. But beyond that, I'm really, I love who she is as a person. I love what she stands for. You know, she's an activist first, right? There's always a message that she's sharing when she's on stage, when she's off stage. So it's just like you have this amazing woman who's, you know, incredibly talented, hits after hits, an amazing performer, but also uses that platform for something that matters and is constantly, you know, consistent with it. So I really do admire her, and she's somebody that I would, you know, put it out into the universe. I would love to collaborate with. It's easy. It's my mom. It has to be my mom, my dad. I mean, there's other people out there, of course, that, you know, I look up to, of course, like Kalani being one of them and so many other artists, but at the core of it, my mother, because it's why I get up in the morning sometimes when I feel like the world is heavy and there's so much going on and I'm overwhelmed. It's her, you know, it's my dad, because they, you know, they came from a place that was their home. It's all they ever knew. It's where they thought they were going to live for the rest of their life. And overnight, you know, a civil war happened and they had to escape and start new lives. And we're 10 kids total. I have 7 sisters, and we're so 8 girls, 2 boys. And to have raised that many kids and to have done it the way that she did it, getting up every morning, going to work, going to school, you know, providing for us in a way that felt like we really did have a lot still, do you know what I mean? And making us feel comfortable in that way is a superpower. So yeah, whenever I'm having any doubts or feelings of just, you know, mediocrity even for a minute, I'm like, what? That's the woman I come from. Get it together. So I just like, she's definitely mine. I think the thing that I love most about being a musician is you really have to be honest with yourself. There's a constant mirror reflecting back at you when you're creating. You know, you really do have to dig deep and talk and create from experiences that you've gone through. And of course, sometimes you're pulling from other inspirations, but I feel like it's a constant journey of self-reflection and like a diary constantly. Like you're unloading your emotions, you're healing, and it's definitely like a very therapeutic experience in a journey that I've been able to, like, you know, embark on. So I think that probably to me is the blessing from it, because without music, I don't know if I would have been able to be brave in the areas that I look back in my life and I'm like, wow, I was able to do that. I was able to, you know, step out of the conforming ideologies that, you know, I was raised with. It sort of allowed me to like push back and deprogram and, you know, get my ideas out there. And it's been even more amazing is what I was saying to you earlier, all the incredible girls and guys who've shared their stories with me and let me know that, oh, you know, you inspired me and this is why I'm on the path that I'm on. It's because of you. So it's all of those things intertwined. It's like
Nice.
it's a blessing, truly. Sensitive, I would be described definitely as sensitive, self-aware, too self-aware sometimes, and silly, especially with my friends. They definitely get a side of me that some people don't get to see, where I could just be like an absolute like goofball and, you know, prank, all that stuff. So definitely, yeah, I would say sensitive, too self-reflective at times, and is that what you Oh, I love it. Oh, wow. Well, you know what? For the sake of it being like we're talking about honey, maybe like a chocolate dipped with honey or something, like a nice caramel dipped drizzle honey. Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, and I love anything with caramel. I'm like constantly stuffing my face with anything that's like crunchy caramel. So
nice.
Probably, yeah, chocolate dip, a little caramel drizzle with a little bit of honey.
Nice.
So yeah, our parents, they don't like, my mom doesn't, and my dad, they don't really know what it is that I do sometimes, right? So she'll be like, she thinks that my my musical career is like an everyday constant tryout of like an American Idol, almost like those competition shows. So she's always like, you released a song, have you been chosen? Like, have you been selected? It doesn't connect with her sometimes. But you know, I had it was like a Juno nomination that, you know, out here, it's pretty amazing. It's like our version of the Grammys pretty much. And yeah, when I was nominated for it, even before that, they came and they did a documentary of me. And, you know, they came down with their camera equipment, and they asked, you know, what would you want for us to capture? It could be you in the studio, it could be, you know, anything. And I said, you know what, I really want it to be my family, where I grew up, which is Dixon, and my like childhood home, essentially. Like, that's where I want you guys to capture me, with my you know, loved ones. And I just remember when that happened, like my mom and my dad, they just saw all the camera equipment, all the people there, you know, how much they cared for me, and the questions they were asking, and then of course the Juno nomination that came with that afterwards. And it was such a beautiful moment. It clicked for them in their, you know, in their heads, like, this is what she's doing. And then of course my song was playing on the radio in that same week. It was just like a week of many things happening, and they were so proud of me. And I just remember feeling like, wow, I made them proud. You know, I could see it in their eyes that they're proud of their daughter, genuinely. It's something that is very intertwined with why I do music as well. When I was 18, I went back to Somalia for the first time after, you know, from being born there. And I remember, of course, like at the beginning, it was such a culture shock. I had a really difficult time adjusting to it. But eventually, you know, I did, and I was able to fall in love with my country, fall in love with the people, and fall in love with like the resilience of you know, how they've been able to continue going and pushing through. And I also saw a lot, like I was doing a lot of work with my uncle there, working in the IDP camps, so it's internally displaced peoples, and we were like, you know, constantly volunteering in these communities. And it woke me up, because all I knew my whole life was Canada, and I almost came as like this sort of spoiled girl who didn't know anything else about the world beyond like just, you know, my friends and my school. And that was like a huge wake-up call. And I just remember thinking the only difference between them and me is the fact that my parents we were able to escape. That's all. We were just able to find a route that allowed us to escape. And that's why I'm able to have an education, you know, and have a healthcare system, and be able to live in this type of a life. And I just remember thinking, when I came back, like, wow, it's like it's a duty, it's a must, and I think it is for any, like, if you are on this earth, it's a right for us to use our voice, whatever it is, as a form of, activism. So I just remember coming back and being a completely different person. Essentially, the girl that I went there as and the girl that came back were two totally different people. And since then, like, I've done a lot of work in, I was in Uganda for 7 months, in like a village, and working with women, and it was a lot of like sustainable development work that we were doing, and giving them dignity to be able to like work for themselves, make the money for themselves, and use that money to put their kids through school, right? It's not just like money being given. So for me, that is my passion, that is my cause, that is like what runs through my blood. It's that I want to be able to use, however like far I go with my music, however high I reach, to always, highlight the causes that are important to, us in the world. So I guess that's what I would want to be known for. And that's why I love Kalani, right? An artist who are able to use both their artistry, and whatever attention they're able to get from that, but to, shine light on issues that are really important in the world. Because at the end of the day, like, that's the most important thing. For each girl, sometimes it is a little bit unique. I really advocate that. So like for some of the women that I talk to, I'm like, you should experience even living on your own for a little bit, just having that experience of being on your own, because you learn in that moment what it is that you want, what it is that you like, having that form of independence, and you won't have, we love our family to death, of course, but you want to be able to do what it is that you want in your life, and of course make your parents proud, and you want to be able to honor them, absolutely. But yeah, each sort of advice that I give you, it is unique, but the ultimate thing that I would say is, make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you choose to do in life, it is from purely from your heart and what it is that you want to do. Not because if I choose this, people are going to like me, or I'm going to be able to, get acceptance from it, or, don't go into anything because you're looking for an outside validation. Make sure that whatever it is that you do, it's something that is, number one, going to make you happy. It's going to make you feel fulfilled. There's no pressures that are coming from anywhere else. Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, because I find that that's probably been the most powerful thing in my career, which is, and I didn't listen to it a lot. I think that's why I'm able to say that so strongly, is really do pay attention to your intuition, and yeah, make sure that you follow in the path that you feel is best for you, and whatever it is that you want to do. That's it. It may sound cliche, but I think I've learned over the years that, a lot of the times people do things for acceptance from others, right? It's like, oh, this is going to make me more popular. This is going to make me more, because if you do go into it like that, you will run out of steam after a while. You're going to constantly need something to keep pushing you. But when it's coming from a true place of fulfillment and happiness from you, then it'll always be coming from within you. You'll never run out of that gas. You'll never run out of that steam. So yeah, that would be my advice. And stay